There's always a better way to do what you're doing right now. So be grateful. Now they're just like, oh my gosh, there's so much more to do, right? And I was like, no, programmatic is where my heart is. Amen. Welcome to another episode of the Programmatic Digest podcast. I am your host, Hélène Parker, and today we have a very special guest, my good friend, Kinga. How are you doing, Kinga?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm excited about this conversation today because we're not only going to talk about your community, but we're going to touch on the importance of education and investing in yourself. You have a course I'd love to hear more about. And then we're going to talk about what's happening in the EU on the privacy and regulation front. At least a good intro for us Americans that may not be as aware of what's going on. At least I am not. I'm really grateful for your presence today. Before we get into conversation, though, let's go ahead and hear about you. Go ahead and introduce yourself to those who may not know you yet.
Thank you for the invitation, the first of all. My name is Kinga Ince. I'm the founder and CEO of Mediaspace Global, the professional social network for media marketing, technology, and regulation. And I'm sitting in Budapest, in Europe, for the Americans. And my background is media agencies. I'm the former CEO of Universal McCann. I left it ages ago and started my boutique consulting. Before that, I wrote a book, The Advertising Space, the Handbook of Effective Media Planning and Buying.
What? I did not know. Okay, you got to share where we can get the book so I can add it.
Yeah, actually it's in Hungarian and it's already sold out 2 times, but it's still available obviously online. And actually it's a great book, but not readable for English
for
any other readers.
Maybe,
I'm afraid.
Maybe it's time to translate in English and in French or Spanish. I'm just saying. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I think we would do something very different this time with my co-author, Anna Pénzes. But anyway, so then I started my freelancing consulting and became a consultant for an independent consultant for everyone who did product development and market analysis. And when launching a big TV portfolio as an outsourced consultant, by that time I already had a couple of colleagues. I just recognized that the media market has become so fragmented that it was pretty hard to analyze the niches and everything. So we started to develop a cross-media business intelligence service called White Report that we launched 11 years ago with the first module in Hungary. And we launched the first module a couple of years ago in the UK, just the financial part. And basically that was the first time when I started to think about scaling a business intelligence product to another, obviously much bigger and more sophisticated market. And on this journey, when I found the positioning of our insights, I just recognized that there are lots of network gaps that we should cover. So that's the short story how I came to the conclusion that we should have a social platform like Mediaspace Global. And basically after a GovTech Summit roundtable with some very interesting high level but professionals coming from different background type of roundtable, like we had the global advertising director of the New York Times, competition lawyers from Brussels, a media lawyer, we represented the analyst part, we had Google and a couple of other players. I just saw that it's not just the networking gap between the countries, but there is a networking gap in the silos that would require a little bit more bridge among the different silos. So That's it. Very
that is
short.
so dope. And that's actually a good segue into the community conversation we're going to have, because that's why you started the community, right? It's called Mediaspace.global. Right now, how many members do you have in the community? What are like the biggest benefit, or maybe what is the biggest, like the proudest thing you can share with us about the community?
Well, it's a global community with
Oh, that's cool.
leading professionals from more than 70 countries, which is amazing compared to the fact that we didn't really have money to promote it. So it's pretty organic how we are growing.
Yeah, that's cool.
And 70% of our members are senior leaders, decision makers, which was pretty surprising at the beginning, but then we just recognized, because we started to develop Mediaspace in January 2020 before COVID, but it was launched during the pandemic, the first wave. And that time, probably they were those who were trying to find new approaches, new solutions. You know, they were more open-minded, and that's why we have this majority of senior people from really media, publishing, platforms, lawyers, regulators, tech people, innovators, and I'm very proud that we have this professional diversity as well as locality as well.
Right. No, that's really cool. 70 countries says a lot. And I definitely appreciate the differences. And like you said, you're breaking out those silos in between, not only across countries, but across those different spaces, those different branch of marketing or media, wherever we are. And I think my favorite thing about the community, because in the community, is the networking that you have. I think you have them once a month. Well, you have a couple events a month for sure. But the networking one, where you have a guest and we have the opportunity to ask the question to the guests ourselves and talk among each other, I think that's really dope. The last one I couldn't join because I wasn't feeling well. So because I couldn't join, can you give us like your top three takeaways from the most recent one, the most recent networking event? So I think it'll be a good way for our listeners to know, like, oh, this is actually a great topic. I want to join the next one.
Thank you for the question. Yeah, we've got monthly networking sessions, always the last Wednesday of a given month. And the idea was, what is behind Mediaspace, that we should meet people outside our current circles and current bubbles, basically. And we've got members normally from 3-4 continents, and obviously, unfortunately, Australians can't really join because it's too late there. But from the United States to Kuala Lumpur, basically, we cover the earth. And the idea behind this is that we always invite few people as panel members. Obviously, they are all Mediaspace members to discuss a specific topic. And then we open the conversation to everyone, and we encourage everyone to be seen. So the cameras are turned on. Everyone has to introduce themselves. So this is a great way to engage with others and to show yourself. And by that, we can break those, to say, barriers that normally you have. So if you want to connect someone on LinkedIn, which is great, and we use LinkedIn a lot, but obviously you can't see the real people behind the profiles. So that's why we say that you can meet people, not just profiles on the Mediaspace sessions in generally, but especially at the networking sessions. And last time we spoke about business development. We always have a soft topic because we've got a very hardcore professional topics for the professional events, online and offline, and the networking events cover more how to network, how to be more visible. So these kind of softer topics. And this time it was about business development, and it was pretty funny. And originally when we started, we didn't expect these quick, how to say, returns on time investment. But it's great to see that some people already met via a Mediaspace networking session. They started to talk to each other. We know that some of them have already been collaborating with each other. So I think basically this is it.
Yeah, I mean, this is really cool because I was definitely interested about the business development one. Do we get recording as media members, right?
Yes, members
Okay.
can
Okay.
rewatch it. Sure.
Yeah, okay, well, I gotta go back and rewatch it. But yeah, I definitely think it's a great thing. I mean, listen there, y'all. You already heard me say this before, but you got to step out your bubble. You got to reach out to a community that makes you uncomfortable because you don't know enough of, okay? Because everybody in that community don't know enough of something. I'm a big fan of joining communities. We had the Women in Programmatic Network on the podcast. I think that's how you and I met via
Yeah.
and now the Mediaspace Global. You got to join and put yourself in a room that is going to help you grow. If you're in a room right now where you feel like you know the most or you know more than the people around you, in the wrong room. You should always be absorbing information from others and sharing what you know. Okay, so I'm a big fan of community building, especially the community building from consultant, because we are agnostic from the technology. We usually don't have sponsorship yet, even though we both accept sponsors if you're out there listening. And we bring that experience in everything we do, because the reason why you heard Kinga said that, the reason why she started the community is because there is a lack of connection that happened even before the pandemic. Of course, the pandemic helped because everybody realized like, oh snap, this is actually a real problem. And that's why we see things as an individual, we see things as a professional, and we try to fix it. So I really encourage you to check out the community. I think it's nothing but amazing in there. It's very, 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 very informative. I love all of the events you have, honestly, Kinga. I think you're doing a great job with that.
Thank you.
And also Kinga has like, Kinga and her team has mini members interviews. And so in the members interviews, you're able to introduce yourself, tell the community what you're doing, what you have to offer, what you love. And that's a great way to get visibility and professional reach. Okay, not so much only for business development, but also for mentorship opportunities, for finding your next dream career. So I love that. I'm actually going to license this idea from the media space. And I already started talking, and I'm going to tell the community, I'm going to start doing those 5-minute interviews and then have you on in the community. So let's talk about self-development, because I know that's big for you as well. You found a team, you founded a team to create a course. So talk to us about the course.
Right. And just reflecting on what you just said, that how we met. So we are both part of the Women in Programmatic Network, which is also a virtual community. Obviously, there are offline events as well, but you and I have never met yet.
Yeah, we don't. We have not met, but I feel like I know you at least for a couple of years at this point, at least.
Absolutely. The same here. Yeah, and that's the feeling. And funnily enough, and that's why I believe so much in the video format, the live video especially, and interactive video at most, because you get to know people so much that when you meet them real time, you can only identify how tall, or short they are. But apart from that, you just recognize them. Yeah. So it's a powerful format, and I love those communities that you mentioned and what you are doing as well, because I believe there are lots of niches where we need more knowledge and expertise, and the best way to get knowledge these days is not only to read a lesson, but talk to others, because these industry changes and knowledge is just not something that is documented so well. So that's why I highly appreciate your programmatic lessons and courses, and everyone who does something like that, because that's community and also knowledge sharing as well. And speaking of communities and community builders, and I will get to the course in a minute, I just wanted to mention that when we started to think about this course, the whole idea was that Actually, the basic thought was coming from a couple of members, and we learned a lot and keep learning a lot from them, because they thought that they don't know how we did that. We became so visible, and this is great that we can make our members more visible. And this is a sort of a mission. So everyone in the community should see each other and talk to each other if it's relevant, obviously. And as the community grows or network grows, it's hard to meet everyone, but we focus on these live or at least video type of visibility building activities for members, and obviously for us as well, because that's a great way to grow, so we can prove what we are, suggesting, that they came to us to learn how we do that. So finally we decided that, okay, we can tell a couple of advices to a couple of people, and even we can build a service on that. But probably it's much better if we invite a couple of members who did the same during the pandemic. So they also started a community in their own way, like the mentioned the Women in Programmatic Network, or there is an edutech community by one of our members, the Third Degree. There is another amazing community, Women from Emerging Isolation. There is a Mediaspace member who wrote a book about personal branding during the pandemic. So we just recognize that we've got a lots of members who did something amazing during the pandemic, and they all become more visible when everyone went dark, or most people and companies went dark. So we just decided to do a community course, and we invited them to give a couple of lessons, video lessons in this course. So that's how we created the Well Connected Leader course, which targets basically future leaders and current leaders, because we all need to catch up in terms of how we can stay connected and visible and relevant in the niche local community.
I mean, so my listeners are 50% buyers, programmatic traders, people that are responsible for the success of an ad campaign. And the other 50% are C-suite leaders, sales, account executives. What I like to tell them, or even when I offer training and workshops where I spend a day with a team, whether on the agency side, brand side, you name it. And then we talk about how to make we go over fundamentals, lessons, programmatic best practices, but also we talk about how to be efficient, and we talk about retention of employees. And so that's part of the framework I teach called programmatic activation. We talk about platform, process, and people. And during this process, I tell everyone, every level in the companies, that if you don't have somebody to look up to, like if your mentor doesn't have a mentor, then there's a problem. It doesn't matter how high in the company you are on that hierarchy, rather. It doesn't matter if you're a leader at the top of the organization. If you are leading a team, you should continue learning how to lead a team. Whether you're 5 years in being a manager, director, whatever, or 10, 12, 20 years in, it is my really professional opinion and recommendation to continue education at this level, not so much about trends, how to sales, but how to manage people, because you are going to acquire some really cool skill set along the way. However, those skill set needs to be adaptable to this new audience, this new generation that's coming into your organization. So I think that course, that Connected Leader one is a lesson, is really, really important, because it teaches how to be versatile, flexible in your leadership. But also I think it highlights that when I hear somebody that's going to sign up for the course, or that's taking that course, I hear, oh my gosh, this is a leader that is trying to continue doing better. And that says a lot about the type of, like, the management skills they have, or the type of person even they have. So if you're listening to this and you're thinking, oh, well, I've been in position of leadership forever. Great. Great. Thank you. Definitely join the community and share your wisdom. But don't think because you have some because you've been seasoned in the industry that you cannot learn more. So I really appreciate that the course. I really do. Hi, did you know that at Ellen Parker Consulting, we now offer an accelerator program where we attract, recruit, and train future marketers? And their training include a 6 weeks program where they cover programmatic landscape, important industry trends, the differences between targeting placement and targeting mix, and their best practices, including optimization and reporting hacks. And they're able to set up, manage, and monitor a campaign, a demo campaign in the trade desk, everything including audience selection, inventory optimization, SPO, creative upload, brand safety, you name it. They're able to do it at the end of the 6 weeks program. So if you are part of the 90% of employers struggling to find a skilled candidate today and not willing to spend $14,900 on a bad hire, according to Zippia, give us a call. Let's discuss which one of our 5 to 10 juniors available every month is the perfect fit for your team. Clients who have hired our juniors have shared that we were able to help them save 1 to 2 months onboarding with those juniors. Give us a call right now and let's discuss the solution with you.
Thank you. And funnily enough, what you just said, that there is a contradiction, because there are leaders who've been in leading position for ages, but they created their reputation, visibility, and style in the analog era. And now the contradiction is that everyone speaks about digital, everyone has digital campaign. There is no advertising campaign on earth that wouldn't have a digital side. But many professionals, including leaders, don't have a digital footprint in the professional space. And I don't only speak about Mediaspace, obviously, but LinkedIn as well, and all the relevant platforms. So that's something which is really funny.
Exactly. And think about this too. If you're a leader and you're listening to this, you're going to have an entry-level person interested in working for your company, or whether it's your direct department or it's another department within the organization. I mean, they're going to go back, they're going to go up the hierarchy here. They're going to see, oh, this person I can relate to, this person is this. I think that's why it's an important notice, because that's why we talk about diversity, okay? I remember looking at jobs way back when, maybe 5 years ago even, and looking at it and going back up, who are the leaders? They were all men. There are a lot of those companies that were all men, all the way down to the VP of HR who happened to be a woman. And that is not something that's attracting to me. I don't want to, and there's nothing wrong with a man in leadership. Let me say that. But if there's no diversity, to me, it was a turnoff, because I had worked for this type of organization many times before. Now, again, let me rephrase this. There's nothing wrong with it. But at this point, we need diversity. I need to see like a couple women in leadership. I need to see a couple Black people, Asian, Hispanic, Latino, Latinas, somebody from the Middle East. I need to see diversity in the represented in leadership, because then, I don't know, then I'm able to connect with this person, even if I don't work for them. So you're absolutely right. You need to think about it for the continuous of the success of the organization. Those new generation are thinking the same way now. They're very big on social justice. They want to know if the organization is supporting any nonprofit. I didn't think about this back in the days. I just wanted to see, okay, is there a woman? Okay, let me just apply. Right now, the future of the industry, those college students graduating now, they are much more aware outside of their work. They understand that mental health is way more important than money. They understand that debt is not bad. Debt is positive, it's a tool. So we gotta do better. We gotta do better as leaders. We gotta keep educating ourselves. And Kinga and her team spend a lot of time on this course, and it's nothing but amazing. So I definitely recommend it.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So we're coming actually really close on time. So you know what, y'all, we're just going to have Kinga back so she can talk about EU regulations and policies. So let's move into our closing segment where I like to ask a few questions, personal questions. So let's start with this one. What is one fun fact about yourself?
I'm addicted to water.
You addicted to water? Like drinking water or swimming? Are you a mermaid?
Everything, every kind, and in a huge amount.
I love that. I think I'm a mermaid too. That's why we connected well. We're both water people. I love it. Okay, so leave us with a word of wisdom, okay? So what is something you wish your freshman self, just starting in her career, knew that your seasoned self know now? So what is something you want to tell her?
I would definitely suggest myself to get sales skills.
Sales skills? Oh, wow. Why? Tell me about it.
Because I was always focusing on professional skills and very hard skills. And I was promoted very early. I was 29 when I was the number one leader of the biggest media agency in Hungary. And it was very, very hard for me to do business development and obviously managing people. That was another part, but I was relatively, intuitive on that. But the sales part of businesses were pretty hard for me to get familiar with.
Wow, I love that. I think it's so genius. This is the first time I hear this wisdom, okay? And I've heard a lot of wisdom. But I think it makes so much sense because you're right. You want to be able to market yourself. You want to be able to market what you do. And so that comes back to understanding sales skills. So I definitely appreciate this. Thank you. It comes at a right point in my career right now. I'm doing business development too. Tough world, but it's good. It's cool. It's very cool.
And I would just add that I would separate communication skills from sales skills because, for example, I'm very good at communications and self-communication, and I always be a presenter and everything. But the hard skills, that's something very different and very much needed.
How to close for business. Got it. Okay, well, thank you so much for dropping by. This has been nothing but amazing. How can people reach out to you? How can they join the community? How can they reach out to Kinga?
Please just sign up for Mediaspace.global and you will find me, Kinga, there. But you can find me on LinkedIn and all the social platforms as well.
Perfect. Well, Kinga's information is going to be in the show note description at the bottom of this video, or if you're listening to your podcast in the podcast show notes. Also include a Mediaspace link so that you can access the community and sign up for the community. And then stay tuned because Kinga and I are working on some pretty cool partnership and we'll announce it in the very, very near future. But thank you everyone for dropping by and we'll see you on the next episode.
Thank you so much for the invite.